They waited in fear until the Deathworlders stepped into the light. Beginning, the galaxy had always whispered about them. Deathworlders. The name alone carried a weight that turned voices into trembling echoes in every star system tavern and every council chamber. No one had seen them, not truly, yet their legends stained the archives of 100 civilizations. They were said to come from a planet so violent that it warped biology itself, a place where storms could peel mountains apart, where predators were not just cunning but relentless, and where even the smallest creatures could kill with venom or disease. Most galactic races came from cradle worlds blessed with balance, mild climates, tame tectonics, and nurturing biospheres. But Deathworlders? Their world was a crucible. Survival that was not granted. It was earned at a cost. For centuries, the Union of Civilized Species had feared the day such beings would emerge from their cursed rock. For centuries, they prayed that Deathworlders would remain quarantined, lost among their storms and iron skies. Then the signal came. It was faint at first, a pulse riding on the edge of the cosmic background noise. Then stronger, a deliberate broadcast, a message of mathematics, prime numbers, and an invitation. We are here. We are reaching out. The Union froze. Meetings were held in endless sessions. Panic cloaked every system. Some species advocated immediate destruction of the signal source, others for containment, others for silence. Yet curiosity burned. The Union had always believed knowledge meant survival. To ignore this signal meant ignoring history in the making. And so, reluctantly, they answered. They did not speak directly. Instead, unmanned probes and distant automated relays sent cautious responses. Weeks turned to months, and in that time, the Deathworlders revealed much. Their sciences, their arts, their history of violence, but also of beauty, compassion, and resilience. It was unsettling. No species had ever shown such contradiction. The Deathworlders wrote sonnets even as they perfected weapons that could peel open continents. They built machines that could cure plagues, machines born from centuries of fighting their own diseases. They painted masterpieces of peace while recounting wars that nearly extinguished them multiple times. The Union debated endlessly. Was this a trap? Were they monsters hiding behind pretty words? Or was it true that these cursed survivors had finally stepped into galactic stage? Middle. The Deathworlders called themselves humans. Their world was named Earth. At first, Earth sent only data streams. Music, speeches, videos of children playing, scientists explaining theories, poets reciting verses. The galaxy watched, half in awe, half in horror. For beneath every layer of culture was evidence of a people forged in constant struggle. One video showed a mountain climb. The Union was baffled. Why scale a frozen cliff with winds that could kill? The human climbers laughed into their cameras, faces frostbitten but grinning. Another video showed divers plunging into black depths where colossal predators swam. Still, they returned, exhilarated. Every Union delegate shuddered at the madness. These were not mere survivors. They sought danger. They courted death as though it were a companion. Yet what truly unsettled the galaxy was not their fearlessness, but their unity in crisis. During the early transmissions, a natural disaster struck Earth, a quake that shattered entire cities. The Union expected chaos. On most civilized worlds, disaster bred panic. But the Deathworlders? They mobilized instantly. Soldiers, medics, engineers, all ordinary citizens transformed into lifelines. They waded through fire and ruin to drag strangers to safety. Their voices crackled over radios. We don't leave anyone behind. The Union chambers fell into silence as they watched. Species with centuries of technological advantage could not imagine such ferocity of will. But suspicion lingered. The Council of the Union, the great assembly of species who rule collective policy, feared what such a people might do if provoked. Behind closed doors, strategies were whispered. Should the Deathworlders be invited into the Union, or destroyed before they could spread? It was then that the darkness came. The KYRR Dominion, raiders from the outer spiral, descended without warning. The Union had always held a fragile peace, relying on treaties more than strength. But the KYRR cared little for treaties. They were conquerors, their fleets vast, their weapons brutal. World after world fell. Colonies burned. Refugees streamed across the stars, hunted and broken. The Union Council was paralyzed, its armies too fragmented and untested. Species who had not fought in centuries had forgotten how. Panic spread. Worlds waited in silence and fear, watching the Dominion fleets grow closer. It was then, in that darkest hour, that a transmission arrived. From Earth, we see what is happening. We know your fear, but fear is not the end. Let us help. The council balked. How could primitives from a death world stand against a Dominion? They had no fleets, no star fortresses. Their technology was young compared to the millennial-old Union. But Earth's ambassadors spoke with calm certainty. We have been preparing for war since the day we were born. You've built peace. We've built survival. Lend us passage and we will stand. Desperation overruled fear. The council consented. And for the first time, Deathworlders stepped into the light of the wider galaxy. The War of Arrival. The first Union soldiers who met them expected monsters. Instead, they found men and women clad in armor forged of composite alloys, eyes sharp but warm, laughter even in the face of dread. They called each other brother, sister, comrade. Where other armies quaked, the humans sharpened their resolve. When the first KYRR fleet arrived at the rim world of Soluan, it expected an easy slaughter. Instead, they found human ships waiting, not massive dreadnoughts, but fast, brutal strike craft. The battle was chaos. The Union fleet faltered and used a direct combat, but the humans, they thrived in chaos. They struck like wolves, tearing at weak points, boarding enemy vessels with reckless bravery. They fought hand-to-hand against creatures twice their size, their shouts echoing through the hulls. We don't break. We don't run. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Every world tuned into the war feeds, expecting to witness the end of the fabled Deathworlders. Instead, they witnessed their rise. Humanity bled. Yes, their ships cracked. Their soldiers fell. But for every one lost, 3 more seemed to rise. Fear did not silence them, it fueled them. Where others hid, they advanced. The Union began to rally behind them. Worlds once too timid to fight took courage from human defiance. Fleets reorganized. Soldiers found their will. The tide began to turn. And at last, at the Battle of Keeler Prime, when the Dominion sent its largest armada, the galaxy held its breath. Would the Union collapse? The humans did not wait for orders. They charged. Their war cries thundered across comm channels. Hold the line. Stand with us. For every world. They fought as if every battle was their last, and in doing so, they inspired a galaxy to rise beside them. When the Dominion flagship finally fell, torn apart by human torpedoes and Union fire, the galaxy erupted in a roar heard across every system. The Deathworlders had not only survived, they had led. Ending, when the war was over, the Council summoned humanity before them. The chamber was vast, filled with delegates of 1,000 species. For centuries, those halls had debated the Deathworlder question, monsters or allies, threat or hope. Now, all watched as Earth's representative stepped forward, a woman named Ambassador Reyes, her uniform worn, her face scarred from battle. She bowed only slightly, not in submission, but in respect. You feared us, she said, voice steady. You waited in silence, wondering if we would come as conquerors. I understand why. Our world is harsh, our history bloody. But it is because of that history we stand here now. We are not what you thought. We are not monsters. We are not saviors. We are survivors. And we will not stand alone nor let you. For a long, breathless moment, the chamber was still. Then, one by one, the delegates stood, not in fear this time, but in recognition. Applause shook the walls. For the first time in the Union's long history, hope burned brighter than fear. From that day forward, humanity was no longer a whispered legend, no longer a shadow lurking on the edge of galactic maps. They were the Deathworlders, the people who had stepped into the light and taught the galaxy that survival was not weakness, but strength.